Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the DC Multiverse action figure of Wonder Woman. If you care about how this is laid out, the tray has some pegs and a little arm stand, and then underneath we've got the figure stand and the little display board. You know, as long as I've been a 6 or 7 inch scale action figure collector, I've been wanting somebody to make action figures of like iconic DC characters like Michael Keaton Batman, Christopher Reeve Superman, Lynda Carter Wonder Woman. And I don't really care if it was NECA or Mattel or whoever, DC collectibles, as long as we got them. And we've had a few from NECA, but now Mattel is trying to get into, I think they're trying to up their ante the way Hasbro has with their 6 inch scale Marvel figures and Star Wars figures, and they've created like the Multiverse line, which is a little step up from some of the more chintzier Mattel figures. And I mean, they can charge $20 to $25 for like similar pricing, but the quality just isn't there. This is slightly a step up from what I expect from Mattel, but it's still not worth $20 to $25. I mean, first things first, the plastic is sturdy, but I mean, for something that's supposed to be kind of targeted towards collectors because they're going specifically from like nostalgic things like the 90s Flash or the Val Kilmer Batman, you can see these seams going right through the front of the thigh. Not just the front, the back as well. You can even see like a gap there. Like you could totally see this little molded seam there. That's a bit of a bummer. Paint on the boots is okay. You can see some little spots where the white paint smears at the ankle. The stars mostly aligned to the sculpted star. It's neat that they sculpted the stars onto her little chonies. Paint's decent. My problem with a lot of female figures is just that their arms and legs are all so slim that the cuts for articulation are more noticeable because there is less surface. So that's a bit of a bummer, but still the hinges here don't look too bad. Gold paint is pretty good. One thing that I find interesting is the lasso of truth here is sculpted on. On the one hand, I dig that because it's not some little piece of cloth thing that's hung there and kind of flares out and doesn't match. I like that it's sculpted so it lays flatter to her body, which is appropriate. The bummer is you can't remove it and have her use it. Despite some of my nitpicks, one of the things I do like about this figure quite a bit is the likeness of Lynda Carter herself. I think they did a great job on this sculpt. Her cheeks, her lips are all really well done, and they have kind of applied the process that Hasbro's been using with their kind of printing painting, which allows them to get really good detail on her eyeballs, the little shading above her eyes, her eyebrows, all really, really well done. The best thing about this figure, to be honest, is the head and the likeness. The sculpt of the hair is good. It's kind of like it's still a hard rubber, but you still get the ability to move the head a bit from side to side. It doesn't really impede too much the way I'd expect it to. She can't turn her head fully side to side, but it's decent. The paint on her tiara is okay. Anything that's kind of hand painted on this is fine, but the printed process is pretty good. Now, another weird thing about this is it comes with soft goods, which I don't like. Especially when it's just like this chintzy little material. It's just a thin little nothing. And it was taped in the packaging, so that's annoying that the sticky goo is still like applied to parts of the cape. So what's fun also too is that they got it so you can display whichever way you want. In the show, when she wore it, it hung like this. On the famous photo where she's wearing it inverted, you can have it like that. It's just a dumb little red string that you tie around her neck, and I'll be honest, I'm never going to be displaying the figure with this because I just think the fabric looks super cheese, and this, I don't feel like tying this in a double knot, but come on, look, whatever. Now, one of the reasons I was concerned about this being $20 to $25 and not being of value because I didn't see it in the figure, but you do get plenty of accessories, and I do think, well, not even plenty, but I think I see where, like, if I would pay $15 for this figure, I see where the other 5 or 10 comes from. The base has a little DC logo on it. It says Wonder Woman, which is neat. It comes with this display arm, which also at the top here looks like it's sculpted, like it looks like it has a hinge that goes up and down, but there's no hinge. It's sculpted to look like it does. Like it's trying to convince you it's a neater figure stand than it really is. It's just an arm with one little swivel there, and it just plugs into a hole in her back there. And I don't really plan on displaying this figure in any kind of like leaping, flying pose. So thankfully it also comes with a little plug that you can just, well, plug into the base like that, and then it comes with 6 of these pegs to plug into any 6 of these holes that you want. I'll just go ahead and put these in here, and then it also has like a little backdrop, which I think is fun, but I mean, all this is unnecessary. I mean, I guess if you're really into the series, but I don't really need all this. I just need a figure that could stand good, and thankfully, at least, she can stand well on her own. That's nice. But the one other thing she comes with is a pair of alternate hands, little grip hands. Grip hands for gripping. No accessory they give her to grip. No lasso of truth, nothing. I'll never understand when they give figures grip hands with no accessory to grip. Still, it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but I will tell you this. Well, I'll tell you this right now. Her elbow joints suck, because I'm trying to get her to cross her arms, and man, that elbow joint is stiff. I'm going to have to loosen that up with a blow dryer or something. That's a disappointment. Her wrist joints are good, her biceps are good, the swivel in the shoulder and all that, but man, those elbows are tight, and I feel like I'm going to snap off the second part of the arm if I work with it any further. So, is this worth 20, 25 bucks? I don't think so. Do I think it's cool because it's Lynda Carter Wonder Woman, and I've always wanted a Lynda Carter Wonder Woman in this scale? Yes! Nice try from Mattel to try to step up to Hasbro's game. I don't think they're there yet. But, yeah, I still think the head sculpt is great. And she still looks cool on the tabletop. I do like this, despite all my complaints. It is cool. Won't lie. It's cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.